in the primary. So they look at all the fights they have with Bernie Sanders and be like, you're telling me this guy, like, he wants to defund the police and abolish the suburbs and, like, do all this kind of crazy stuff. I don't think I think that's a big mistake.
I think he's between a rock and a hard place. He can't go all squad because he'll lose a number of people. And he can't go all Bernie because there are still, unbelievably, there are moderate Democrats who still believe in the rule of law and the Constitution.
Yeah, I think the people who are, those people are the people he's trying to appeal to. I think he's trying to appeal to those people who are, like, kind of the people who are mostly almost entirely in the suburbs, and people who were just fiscally conservative or socially conservative enough to say, or probably fiscally conservative enough to say that I like Trump. Like, I think that's who he's trying to go to. That's who he's trying to go to, was putting John Kasich as speaker. And I think it's really because he knows the left isn't going to go anywhere. The left doesn't have any leverage anymore. Doesn't have any power anymore. And I think that's just
I disagree. I think the far left has a disproportionate amount of power. I don't think there are as many people on the super far left as there are more moderate Democrats, and it's the far left that gets a lot of attention and a lot of press.
I think the place that they probably get the most attention is, funnily enough, Fox News, because they probably think they have a easier time, like, painting them in a certain way, but they probably give the most accurate portrayal, because MSNBC, they would be like, well, Joe Biden's in first place, Elizabeth Warren's in third, and Pete Buttigieg is in fourth. Like, that's what they would be during the primary.
I was going to say exactly that. If you want to read about how the far left has power, just read the New York Times. Just read the front page of the New York Times. Everything is couched as anti-Trump and pro-progressive. Almost everything.
I think there is a little bit of a distinction because there is a lot of, I think you're going to hear the least kind of blatant, blind Trump bashing from people like Bernie Sanders, people on the progressive, like, far left. Like, AOC, like, will, maybe not as much AOC, but probably Bernie Sanders would be like, Trump was making points on trade that were better than Hillary Clinton's points on trade. I think maybe AOC would. I would hope she would say that. I think it's because it's definitely true. Like, that's the reason why. Because he was talking about that so much. That's the reason why I think he won in 2016.
Yes, I agree. I think people
also because Hillary was pretty much responding to everything Trump was putting out.
But she was also probably one of the most horrible Democrat candidates ever to come down the pike.
Yeah, and if you look at,
she had so much baggage. She had 30 years of baggage. It was so easy to dismiss. She was a cutout. She was everything that you could point at on.
I think you could do a lot of the same things
and say this is what we don't want.
I think if you probably had, like, who ran the 2016 campaign?
Who's Trump's?
Like Trump's, yeah.
Oh, he had a few guys. He had first he had
was it Kellyanne or.
No. First he had.
I know it was Corey Lewandowski first.
Lewandowski. Then he got rid of Corey
Lewandowski. Manafort.
And then Paul Manafort lasted about 60 days.
Yeah, and then after that,
had his baggage.
Was it Bannon after that? I think it was Bannon.
No, Bannon was. If he didn't run it, he was a big advisor. Might have run it.
Like that kind of tone, like, I think probably, I don't know, I don't want to be like coming off like I'm trying to give Trump advice, but like it is, I think it really is very, very telling. Just like he is kind of a band, just doesn't have that same like populist edge. Like you'd see stuff that he said, especially during a campaign, where you'd just be like, you could probably, if you just took away the quote, like if you took away the video of that and just wrote that as a quote, Bernie Sanders could possibly would have said that.
Yeah.
Like, especially when it comes to trade and stuff like that.
It's the trade. I think Donald. Listen, he should stick to his knitting, man. The guy is. He knows how to make a budget. He knows how to. He understands finance. He understands global markets. He understands the stock market. Like, this is his wheelhouse. This is what he should stick to. He's honestly, he should have been some Republicans. Treasury Secretary.
That might have been something. But I think you could ask like the numerous bankruptcies that he's had. I don't know, like that would probably not be the biggest testament to his managing of money, but I think it's just like he has really lost that kind of edge, that kind of that I heard it described as like kind of majoritarian issues that people do support if you look at the polls and stuff like that don't get any representation in Congress whatsoever, because there's still that kind of like corporate side of things on both sides.
I think we can agree with this, that there is corporate Washington, okay? And there is almost no difference between corporate Republicans and corporate Democrats. These people care about they're funded,
if you name certain people,
funded by donors.
For sure.
They owe at least some form of support to donors, and
that's a really big part of both parties. Almost all of both parties.
I agree.
I would say probably all of the Republican Party. Like who is not in large part funded by donors? Look in the Republican Party, like even Trump, to a large degree.
My bet is that he was less so than everyone else, and that was one of the appealing things in 2016.
Yeah, in the way he marketed himself, but there was a lot of, especially later, especially in the general, I think, there was a lot of
he was a Democrat,
support.
Became a Republican. He's been on all sides. Listen,
and that's a part of the appeal. Like, I give money to everybody, but I'm also rich, so you can't buy me off. Like, that was a big part of it.
We discussed this maybe a year ago when I was on another time. We're talking about a New York City real estate developer. He had to get along with everyone under the sun. He had to make concessions.
He used to brag about how he had the mob like coming into his room.
That's the other thing. You have to learn to deal with the mob. Like this, he's got.
It's a very seedy, corrupt world.
I'll tell you what.
We're probably preparing one for Washington. Yeah.
What's that?
But the New York State real estate world would be kind of similar to Washington.
Exactly, which is why I feel like
that's part of the appeal. I would
he's
say.
also he's a big cost cutter. He doesn't like to overspend for anything. So he doesn't fill every government position that's open. You know what? It's commendable.
It's like if he's not filling every like person at the State Department, if he's not like having like people from the intelligence community like feed him whatever they want him to hear for an hour every day, that is like not the worst thing in the world when it comes to Trump.
With me.
I think the big thing really why he's losing is like it's just the persona. It's like what he's been saying is like get everyone back to work. Let's go. The virus it's embers. It's embers. But the cases are going like way up. Like just ask Andrew Cuomo. You don't have to really do a good job with the virus to have mass praise. Like people did give him a chance. If you look at it, like his approval ratings went up, they went down. Like Cuomo, the death rate went up, but his approval rating also went up, and now he's selling posters.
I do not understand. How can you kill so many people and have a good approval rating?
Really, I think like the first part is like there's a certain type of liberal in New York that's like very much MSNBC. Like the probably a outsized proportion of MSNBC people. Viewers live within maybe, I would say, like 30, 40 miles away from the city.
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, like it is, like those are the people who are, I think, more likely to. And to give Cuomo credit, though.
Washington, New York City, Los Angeles,
and
Chicago. And
to give people who are like, if you look at what he said every day, he's like, we're telling you the truth, we're telling you the facts, we're not messing around, like we're here to get things done, and like, again, that did help with, granted the massive spike, the virus did eventually get under control. And it's not under control of the rest of the country. That's the big thing.
Hold on. He still has one of the highest per capita death rates in the
country. I agree. But
and all these places where you got liberal media outlets bashing various states, they're at the bottom of the per capita.
And if you look at the, I think the big thing is he acted like he wanted to get things better, and there are not new cases exploding every day. I think those are the two things that make his agreement work. Well, the fact that him and de Blasio being like, yeah, let's go outside, go to those bars on March 9th. That is what caused, and that's so bad. And that's the main reason why we saw the big spike that he did. But he enforced
The New York
guidelines
City
and
health
things went down.
secretary was telling people to go to
Yeah.
Chinatown, get out of the house.
That's what it is.
Nancy Pelosi was telling people to get out of the house.
And the people coming in, like, and the Surgeon General, like, he was like around Valentine's or something like that. It was like, roses are red, violets are blue. Like, the risk for the coronavirus is low, but get your shot for the flu or something like that.
Exactly.
Like, that's like, again, he really got caught blindsided. Him and de Blasio really got caught blindsided in the beginning, but I think the big spike, and also the thing he did with the nursing homes, especially after receiving campaign contributions from the nursing homes previously, that is just peak New York City machine-style corruption. Undeniably, yeah. And that's just so that's the part that really, like that, interestingly enough, that was broken, I think, by kind of like Bernie's former speechwriter, who was a reporter before that, who I think and is kind of going back into reporting now.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because
he is a mainstream Democrat.
Totally.
I could see a Bernie supporter.
Yeah, progressives
throwing a grenade in there.
He tried to do some things to like get Bernie off the ballot in New York, and like Cynthia Nixon, the actor, was kind of challenged him in 2018. Was kind of from that same left wing position. Yeah, but all right, we probably good on time for now. But before we go, of course, got to check with those election predictions. Putting on the spot? Who do you think's going to win here?
Oh my God! I tell you, just flip a coin. I think it's that close. I really do. I think the polls don't indicate exactly what will happen.
I think it's. I really see it as something that's very, very similar to the dynamics at play 2008. I think that's what's going to happen, and then you have kind of an uninspiring lefty Democratic president come in. And then who knows? Maybe the same thing may happen again, but just we may be living in 12-year cycles. This is what's happening now.
This is a prediction I will make. Okay. No matter who wins, the far left will not be happy.
That is a prediction that I can assure you, as a proud member of the far left, that is exactly right. All right. David Langan, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And of course, I thought no better way to end our show with some music from Michael Brooks. Rest in peace to Michael Brooks, and of course, condolences to his family.
Paste it double. That's the hook, man.